From the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, it's game number 2 of our President's Day special edition of Big Monday, as the Huskies of Connecticut try and fight their way into the tournament facing the Syracuse Orangemen. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to Big Monday. We'll get you out to game number 2 in just a moment, but first let's tell you what happened in game number 1 Monday. In Syracuse, Conrad McRae, he's become a leader in this his senior season, knocking it down there. He'll go up against the Huskies. That's up next.
Syracuse than any other team in the league.
I'll remember my time at Syracuse as the most memorable is just playing in front of 30,000 every night. The fan support we get, and there's no better atmosphere in college basketball.
It's love! It's jam, baby! The Cuse is ready to play!
We still want to be looked at as a group that pushed through and played hard every time.
Got away with a sensational one!
It was just an ending to a tough season by winning the Big East championship. It was really special for the guys that went through it, and especially Conrad and myself being seniors.
We know that each and every game, that's our NCAA tournament, so that just gives me the extra motivation to go out and play as hard as I can.
It burns a fire, and especially when you can't go to the NCAA tournament, you're going in, night out, thinking, hey, we got to show people we can play. It's become more of a pride thing.
We're just going out every day playing basketball. We don't even talk about it anymore. The issue's over and done with, and we're just going out and playing, having fun our senior year.
ESPN's NCAA basketball is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by the people of Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
A relatively passive crowd at the Carrier Dome so far as we get set for the Orangemen and the Huskies. Hi again, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Dick Vitale. Some of that, Dick, might be the fact that Syracuse knows it's not going anywhere except the Big East tournament. For UConn, though, they had lost 4 straight. Now they've won 2 in a row. This is a big game for them tonight.
Well, they're really excited because they have Scotty Burrell back, and it gives them another dimension offensively. In the 2 games they've won, he was in double figures in both and double figures in rebounding. And also with the 2-3 zone that Syracuse plays, he can be big. But when you talk about postseason and getting to an NCAA tournament with 7 games remaining, they better win 5, baby, to try and get themselves in position to go to the big dance.
Well, right now 11 wins for the Huskies as we take a look at the Buick starting lineups. Donyell Marshall, 5 statistical categories in the Big East. He's in the top 5 in a lot of those. Donnie Marshall joins him with Burrell, Ali, and Johnson. For Syracuse, a guy who's played so well the last 7 games. We saw him last week against Georgetown be brilliant. Adrian Autry at the point with Hopkins, McRae, Moten, and Wallace. These teams always play tight games. 2 to 3-point matchups, it seems, every time they played the last 7 or 8 outings.
The last time they played, Syracuse got the big W, a 3-point win. Autry not wasting any time, looking to shoot the 3 right out of the gate.
UConn pushes it.
There's that 2-3 zone.
Marshall has it swiped by Autry, ahead to Hopkins. And he'll lay it in. No, missed the layup. Moten with a second try. And finally, Donnie Marshall with a rebound.
He's a big, strong inside player, a good, solid role player. No relation to Donyell.
2 turnovers, 2 trips for UConn.
Adrian Autry's been scintillating, Brad. He's averaging 19 points a game in his last 5 games.
Wallace walked with it on the other end, and both teams a little bit tight out of the blocks.
I think things got to get better than what we're seeing right out of the gate. A really sloppy play.
That's what Autry had against Miami. He had a 31-point outing against Pittsburgh, and we saw him have 25 against Georgetown last Monday night.
He was brilliant against Georgetown. Hoyer's had a tough time shooting the ball against the 2-3 zone. Connecticut should be able to handle it. They got some pretty good wing shooters.
The 3 goes for Rudy Johnson.
There's the wing jump shot. We talk about being available in the 2-3 zone. I don't think you can win big in college basketball sitting in the 2-3 zone. You may win on a short-term basis, but not long-term.
Rudy Johnson making his 5th start, and he's got the first points of the night.
He's a slasher. He's had some serious injuries.
Moulton answers with a 3 of his own.
Connecticut sits in a zone, and Moulton is the answer. The reason the zone is not as effective today in the 1990s is because of the use of the three-point shot, and you get wide open looks at it, Brad.
Moulton, who had a career low last Monday night against Georgetown, in the books early for the Orangemen.
Take a look at that 2-3. We take a look at it. The wings, if you can pinch up on top, make the front 2 guys play the guy up on top, you should get open shots.
Ali had it stripped by Hopkins. Nice steal by Hopkins.
Hopkins is such a competitor.
Autry will pull up.
Not bashful at all anymore. Adrian Autry has really stepped his game up offensively in terms of shot selection.
Danielle Marshall can't connect, and Hopkins pulls it down.
Hopkins hit big against Connecticut in their first meeting, knocked down 3 threes. Rotate out of the zone, Connecticut. Jimmy Calhoun plays multiple defenses, man-to-man.
Tough catch by McCray in the paint.
I'll tell you, he earned that deuce. They collapsed all over him. Good catch on the interior.
So Syracuse with 7 straight.
Scotty Burrell's had an assortment of injuries. Danielle Marsh, outstanding inside player.
Burrell's 3 won't go. Cleared out of there by Conrad McCray.
What a quiet, very quiet, serene crowd.
They expected close to 29 again, but they have not made any noise yet. Wallace. McCray gets it right back up there. Last touch by Burrell, out of bounds to Syracuse.
Jim Calhoun really works that sideline, and he will not be afraid to go to his bench.
Travis Knight's going to check you in.
What a job Calhoun has done since taking over a program that was really dormant. Look at the numbers. His 7th year at Connecticut.
Averaging 20 wins a year.
Had several big years.
Donnie Marshall. Charging foul. (7-3) Orangemen with 16:51 to go first half.
You know, last year, February 1st, 1992, they were 16-1 and 7-1 in the Big East. Talking Connecticut.
And the foul will be on Rudy Johnson. He made sure Moulton wasn't going to get that easy one.
You know, Brad, then they collapsed. They were 4-9 the rest of the year. Lost the first round to St. John's in the Big East tournament. Lost in the second round to Ohio State. Beat Nebraska in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Jim Calhoun really did a great job when he was at Northeastern.
Sure did. 14 years there.
Had Reggie Lewis now starring with the Boston Celtics. Was a 6th man when he played at Dunbar High School with Muggsy Bogues and company. Talking about the Washington, D.C. area. Lawrence Moulton likes to wear those white socks up high. He said that's a trademark. He has a little pact with some of his buddies in Washington.
8-3. Syracuse. That jumper short. And stolen right back. Burrell and Marshall combine on that turnover. And Ali will pull up again.
That's the one area of his game he has to improve on. If he can develop a little bit range as a shooter, Ali does a great job running the ball up the court in transition. I'll tell you, a key player tonight is not on the floor. Will be an important player in this game, Brian Fair. Could really shoot the basketball for Connecticut.
Moulton way out. McCray, tough rebound.
McCray really very active on the inside, just like he was against Georgetown.
Ali's foul as he's on his way to the hoop. Wallace picks up his first foul. John Wallace, a freshman.
I was teasing Jimmy Boeheim today in the locker room. I said, Jimmy, you're so relaxed. I mean, you should see relaxed, smiling, drawing diagrams. He said, no, that's my normal. You get older, more experience. I think the fact that they're on probation has taken away all the tension and all the pressure, and they're just playing basketball.
Players would tell you they're out there to have fun, and they have had fun the last couple nights out. So far, they've got a 10-5 lead here.
They've won 4 of their last 5, lost that game to Miami. Ali matched up here with Autry. Nice pass to the baseline.
Slices.
Did a great job protecting the basketball. Power drive to the goal.
UConn's got to get Burrell involved here. So far, Donnie Marshall scores there. Cuts it back to a 5-point Syracuse lead.
Nice little screen roll from up on top.
A little bit too much on that pass.
Too much of a lead.
We've got a timeout with 15-14 left first half. Syracuse up 5.
He started to come along. You know, he's always been a good defensive player. He's blocked a lot of shots for us. Offensively, he's gotten better, but he hasn't stepped up to the line where we think he can. And in the last 2 or 3 games, particularly, he started to step up, and I think that's good for us and good for his development.
One of those seniors that has stepped up his game. He's off early with 4 points and a couple offensive rebounds. 20 points and 10 boards and a couple blocks last Monday against Georgetown.
Well, what he gives you a dimension inside, and he takes away some of the ability for teams to score attacking in the 3-second area because of his shot blocking ability.
Ryan Fair in the lineup now for UConn. Dick mentioned him earlier. He is an excellent outside shooter.
Yeah, he can shoot the 3. If he can get himself where he can locate, square his body, he's not going to get his shot off his dribble move that effectively.
There it is, and he didn't get it.
He's
with a rebound.
He's a better shooter, Brad, if he catches the ball and is wide open.
A little more open that time. This rebound comes off to Wallace.
That's the shot they would like. Fair was Mr. Basketball down in Arizona, player of the year in Arizona. Connecticut's done a great job recruiting all over the country, and that's the exposure and visibility TV with the Big East Conference.
Wallace got nice position, but then got doubled down low and still paid off.
He's a big-time future player. I'll tell you one thing. This guy's got a world of potential. Strong inside player, can really rebound, averaging about 8 rebounds a game.
Burrell pulls up and hits the outside jumper.
What an athlete. Everybody knows. Tremendous baseball prospect. Throws the ball about 95 miles an hour. He's in the Toronto Blue Jays chain, who almost had a violation.
Steal by Fair, and he missed a reverse layup. Got it back. Tried again. He just took that one right away on the inbound pass.
Syracuse, poor job handling the ball against pressure. Just out-hustled him right there. Fair wanted that baby.
Syracuse by 3.
Can you imagine Morrell throwing that ball at you about 95 miles an hour at 6'7"?
His dilemma that's coming up is, will he be a #1 pick in the NBA, or will he take the baseball and try to make that work?
He's got a trailer. He's got a trailer. There's the trailer.
For Ali.
Yes, sir. Great communication. Kicking it back to the trailer in transition. You can see that coming all the way. That's the kind of style of play Jimmy Calhoun likes. Pressure defense, force the turnover, score and convert in transition. Not a Flames, he changed defenses. Now they're going to play a matchup 2-3.
So we've seen a couple of different 2-3s from these two clubs tonight. And right now, Syracuse up 1.
See, Jim, what he does here, I mean, Brad, what he does here, basically, he changes defenses to get you out of your rhythm.
McCray, again, the offensive board. He can't get it. And Knight lost the rebound to McCray. Blocked the shot.
They wanted a foul called on the inside.
Knight's going to try it on the offensive end.
Knight's a 7-footer from out of Utah. They think he's going to be a future good player. He's got to get stronger, a little more physical, but he has an excellent touch for a big guy. Only a diaper dandy, a freshman.
Donnie Marshall goes out. Danielle Marshall comes in.
It's amazing when you look at Connecticut's roster and you see players from all over. I mean, Utah, Georgia. I mean, it's amazing. Arizona.
The long pass ahead. Secunda trying to shag it down and does.
He can shoot the ball, Secunda. Ali trying to beat Autry to a spot.
And a foul on Ali as Autry was working his way into the paint. Coming up next here on ESPN. What a day of hoops, huh?
Danny D's got them really playing well. They just blew out on a road, Kansas State.
Autry from way outside can't get the 3. And Secunda somehow got a cheap rebound on the baseline.
Oh, nice dish. That's just a big-time play. Get into the 3-second area. Great penetration. The 3D man. He drives, he draws, and he dishes the rock.
Burrell will try a 3 of his own.
Burrell, what makes him so special? Great athletic ability. Look at the steal.
Fair's done it twice now. A steal and an immediate bucket.
I mean, really sloppy Syracuse inbounds into basketball.
And UConn leads 18-16. Kunda feeds low to McCray. Blocked by Knight again.
Knight got a good angle for that block.
Moten comes out of the pile and scores.
Lawrence Moten, silky smooth, hanging around the basket, converts on the missed shot. Came in last year as a freshman without a big reputation, but was one of the better impact freshmen in America. As the entry down inside. Now watch Knight get the good angle for the block. Now the ball is loose. It's going to pop in the hands. On a missed shot, here comes the ball loose. It's going to pop out. Mr. Moten says, I got it, baby, and it's going back up.
Scott Burrell picked up the foul. Moten with a chance for a three-point play, and already he's got more points than he had against Georgetown last Monday night when he had a career-low 6.
You know, you asked about Scotty Burrell. He's going to probably have to show really well in some of the postseason tournaments to get his stock a little bit up. He has not had a great senior year because of the injuries, and he's had so many injuries. It's been incredible from the groin to the knee to the ankle.
Ali kicks it back outside. Fair for 3. Buried it.
Key player. Keep an eye on him. I think he could really hurt that zone.
UConn up 3.
See, I think if they can get Syracuse out of that zone by hitting the 3, Syracuse is in big trouble because they're not a good man-to-man team. See, they're going odd even now. By that, I mean simply if they put one man out front defensively, Connecticut, Syracuse goes to a 2-man front.
Moten traveled on the baseline.
A lot of clubs like to use the odd, even theory in attacking zone defenses.
UConn has pushed it out to a 3-point lead.
Man-to-man. So the 2-3 zones become kind of a dinosaur, and Jimmy's done a good job of coming with it over the past 4 or 5 games, and I think they've won 4 of those 5 games. Much better team with the 2-3 zone, trap a lot of it. I'm really concerned initially it's about scoring points against them.
Jim Boeheim has admitted his team's not a good man-to-man club, and the zone's helped him, Dick.
I think he's got to really find a way to get them to learn how to play man-to-man, especially in the future, because I don't believe you can win consistently in terms of winning big, number-wise, sitting in a 2-3 zone. There's too many wide gaps in it, and there are too many kids today that can step in those gaps and really carve it apart.
Daniel Marshall has not been involved offensively yet. But he'll get there sometime, you can bet.
Oh, he's a big-time recruit that they brought here 2 years ago.
Fair. Boy, you picked this guy out.
Watched him shoot today at the shoot-around. I'll tell you one thing, he didn't miss in the shoot-around. Now they rotate into a zone. Now see, with a 2-3 front, they'll go to a 1-man. See, right now they got to recognize, go odd even.
And that one goes in for Autry.
What an amazing player he has become all of a sudden the last month. As I explained a little bit earlier, Brad, odd even simply means this. Whenever there's a 1-man front in the zone, you want to now, they have 1 man, so that is your odd, and you want to go even 2 guys against the 1. If they have 2 guys out front defensively, you want to put 1 guy up and attack the 2 and dribble right at the 2.
We got a timeout. Just under 10 minutes left first half, and it's UConn leading by 4. We're Dick Vitale with you at the Carrier Dome, where Syracuse trails by 4.
You know, we talk about zones having gaps. Adrian Autry does a great job. There's ball reversal. They swing it to him. Now he splits the gap, hangs, little jump stop, and he converts. He has just become a totally different player.
Absolutely. Early in the season, had no confidence in his outside shot, and his playmaking capabilities went south, too. Fair has got a little confidence in his outside shot. He has hit his last 5.
Mr. Fair having quite a day coming off that bench. Finally, I got something right, huh, Brad? I mean, I really felt that he was going to be a key player. Just watching him shoot today and practice and knowing that that zone will have some openings.
He has 13 off the bench. It's a 14-4 UConn run. And Marshall, long ball to Fair. That's going to be intercepted by Autry.
Not a good pass right there by Marshall.
McCorkle drives.
Jimmy Calhoun wants him to wave it off. And no way. He thought they were up on the cylinder.
Boy, McCray made sure that one was going nowhere.
Well, from out of Brooklyn, involved in a lot of controversy, throughout a score. Oh, look at this little trap. Ollie takes the trap. He's out of Crenshaw High School out in L.A., where they developed John Williams, Marcus Johnson. In fact, Marcus Johnson has a son now playing out there at Crenshaw.
Corkle out, Lawrence Moten back in. Fair might take it. I thought he'd take it on the inbound. He thought about it.
Syracuse is thinking about trapping out of this 2-3. They're thinking about changing their seat. Here it comes. You can see they were sensing, going to jump into a trap out of it.
They better do something against Brian Fair.
You can only anticipate the trap the way their front two are leaning.
Daniel Marshall fouled as he took the shot by McCray.
Look at Jimmy Boeheim. He can't believe it. Larry Lembo, one of the premier officials in college basketball, has relaxed Mr. Boeheim.
Larry Lembo, Dan Chrisman, Sean Corbin, the officials tonight.
Daniel Marshall, what a story. Came down, it looked like possibly Syracuse, Maryland, or Connecticut. And one of the reasons he ended up at Connecticut, he played in a McDonald's High School All-American game down in Springfield, Massachusetts. On the way back from the game, he was with some buddies. He said, let's stop at Storrs, Connecticut. He stopped there, and all of a sudden, on his own, and he decided after he had his official visit, this is where I want to go, baby. And he decided to join the Huskies, and they were elated.
All Big East rookie last year, and look at the numbers, leading the team in all those categories, as I mentioned at the beginning of the game, in the top 5 in 5 major statistical categories in the Big East.
He's really got to work on his weight, knowing he's got to get in there in the weight room and build up his body, get a little physical, get a little stronger. He's very agile. He's got an excellent touch, great shot blocker. See, now they go to a half-court trap. Oh, nice. Bring the ball to the weak side. That's the way you beat the trap. Get it away from the strong side. Bring it to the empty side of the floor. Good execution by Syracuse.
The Carrier Dome in Syracuse, where Syracuse led by as many as 7. Now they've cut the UConn lead back to 5 as the Huskies went on a big tear.
See, Connecticut ran a man through. They ran a guy through Burrell to see what the defense was. It was not a straight 2-3. They came out of that 2-3 zone, Syracuse.
McCray sent a big-time pick on Cormier, and here's Wallace in the paint.
John Wallace has got to get his hands on the ball a little bit more. He's touched it twice, and he's got 2 conversions.
Back to a 3-point game.
They're playing man-to-man right now. Syracuse came out of that zone. See, one way to find out what they're playing is run a test pattern. Send a guy through, and you can tell whether or not a guy goes with them if they're in man or if they're in zone.
Hopkins trying to stay with Fair. Nobody's been able to do that. He hasn't missed his last 6 shots. He's got 15 in the first half.
What a big half coming off the bench. You talk about giving point production.
He's got another steal, too.
He's driving Hopkins bananas.
His 3rd steal, and he finally missed a shot, and it's the closest one he had.
Sean Corbin with the call. Foul called. Marshall goes to the line.
It'll be on Hopkins, who's trying to steal it back.
Think about Connecticut. I think about that 1990 season when they lost that heartbreaker. Chance to go to the Final Four. Christian Laettner steps out of bounds, catches the ball after making the pass from out of bounds, knocks down the winner. But what a year. They won 31 games. They were a toast. There were such heroes in the state of Connecticut that year. Won the Big East championship.
Christian Laettner beat a lot of people along the way that way. Daniel Marshall back to the stripe. That's where he's got his only points of the night.
And Burrell to George in that game against Clemson was unbelievable as well. They were #1 seed that year in the East. Had a phenomenal year. And last year, think about it, February 1st, a year ago, they're like 16-1, 7-1. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Marshall gets hurt, twists the knee, and they really had a tough time recovering. Went 4-9 the rest of the way.
Wallace clears off the miss.
Another thing I like about Adrian Autry, Brad, he's got great size for a guard.
Can really see.
Yes, he's got great vision.
Lazarus Sims now comes out on the point.
He's a handler. Autry moves over to the 2nd slot, looking to score even more now with Sims on the floor.
Sims kicks it out to Autry. He becomes the 2-guard and buries the 3.
There it is. Reverse rolls right now. Autry gets out of the point guard slot, steps into the gap.
That was just inside the 3-point line. I want to correct that. A 2-pointer for Autry.
There's no way they would have done that earlier in the season.
Burrell feeds Knight, who went up and down without letting go of the ball. Turnover, Huskies.
They're giving Knight some playing time. They expect him to become a really solid player. His brother plays at BYU. He said no to BYU.
Right. A little bit of height to that family.
I'll tell you, multiple defenses by Connecticut. They keep you constantly alert from the fact of making adjustments all the time.
Sims trying to feed Wallace. Out of bounds.
You know, big news for the Big East. Everybody screams, the Big East is down. Pittsburgh goes out there to Illinois, who's 8-2. 8-2 in the Big Ten. And they beat them, and beat them convincingly. Chris McNeil was super. You think of Arizona, top 4 team in America. I personally think overrated. There is no way Arizona is a top 4 team in America. But basically, the Providence, who's like struggles in the Big East, blows them away.
Autry comes up ahead to Moulton. And Lawrence trying to get it off Burrell because he knew he was falling out of bounds, but he stepped on the sideline first.
And Adrian Autry's got all pain looking on his face. Hey, wait a minute. I hope I don't get any letters. Right to Brad. Did you say they were overrated, or did I say it?
No.
I like Arizona as a team. I certainly think they're a top 12 team, but not top 4 in the nation. The Pac-10 is down this year.
Nice cut for Burrell. He got a decent pick on the baseline. And a foul underneath. Lawrence Moulton picks up his first. And Scott Burrell will go to the free throw line.
You know, making a decision as to baseball. I was just thinking of this today when I was in my room. 2 guys I remember that pitched and played in the NBA as well. David DeBusschere pitched for the Chicago White Sox. That's before your time, though. I remember. You're so young. David DeBusschere played naturally with the Knicks, the Detroit Pistons. And another guy years ago, really prior to that, people in Boston will remember him, Gene Conley, when he played for the Milwaukee Braves, and he played with the Boston Red Sox. And the Blue Jays, when you think about it, Danny Ainge, Jay Schrader, the quarterback, who I didn't know his name today. My producer and our beloved producer had to remind me, Jay Schrader, quarterback for Raiders.
34-28. UConn up under 6 minutes first half.
I would go to Wallace. I'd try to get Wallace involved. I don't believe that Knight is physical enough to play him. See, but Wallace has got to learn to move without the ball. That's one of the real problems for young players, learning how to get position. You watch Wallace. See, he just floats in the lane, so he's easy to defend. See, watch number 44. He's not hungry enough to get free.
Trying to feed Wallace. Got it to him with 10 on the shot.
I'll tell you, if he touches the ball, something positive is going to happen. Thank you, John.
Have to hurry. 5-second call.
Both clubs struggling against pressure. Now watch Wallace, number 44. He's got to get a little more active. See, he's easy to play right here. Just drifting. Now he's just, see, Knight, oh, a screen. Got help from the screen. Nice horizontal screen. Bumped Knight.
Syracuse can cut it to 2 if they score.
Autry trying to get free against the zone on the wing. See, now here's the odd even we were talking about. They have 2-man fronts, and they have 1 guy up on top offensive.
He's trying to wanted to cross court to Moulton, and has to come way back out on top.
Well, they run a dribble entry. You dribble to the wing, and you rotate the opposite wing to the top of the circle. See, Moulton is the odd man right now, up on top.
Tried to force it, turnover, and UConn comes back the other way. Burrell sets up for 3.
Scotty Burrell likes standing on that 3-point range area. He's got that range as a shooter.
33 trays on the season for him, and the Huskies go back out in front by 7.
Huskies certainly a different team when he's on the floor. He's just a weapon that you just cannot afford to have on the sideline. Then they lost to Reno Walker earlier this year after the first game, and that certainly hurt him.
There's a nice pick by Wallace, and then Sims hit him off it.
Touched the ball 4 times, 4 scores.
Ali working against Sims.
Playing man-to-man. Tough pass to handle. Try to run a V-cut, a diagonal cut.
Sims will sit, and Mike Hopkins comes back out for Syracuse.
Hopkins was big in the win over Connecticut. He knocked down 3 threes in a row in his second half, had 16 big points.
Syracuse captain.
Being played by Burrell in the matchup. Nice pass. Great touch pass by John Wallace. Excellent 2-man play. Give the rock up, cut to the goal. Great look.
Every time UConn stretches that lead out in the 7-point range, Syracuse has an answer.
Crowd finally gets into it.
Ali. 2-pointer won't go. Autry, the leader of the pack.
Strong drive by Mr. Autry from out of the Big Apple. He was quite a player at Palatine High School with Malik Sealy. Played with Mr. Reese. From out of North Carolina, walking violation.
Danielle Marshall travels. Timeout, 3:17 left in the half. .67 freshman John Wallace has been favorably compared to Derek Coleman. Jim Boeheim had these thoughts on that comparison.
It's not a bad comparison. I don't like to compare players, but he looks and plays so much like Derek that you can't help but think that.
And you saw the numbers almost identical between the two, and that's some pretty high praise for the freshman.
I'll tell you, he's got great talent. What he lacks compared to Mr. Coleman is the mean streak that Derek Coleman had. And remember, in '87, he took them to the final minute against Indiana when they lost that national championship in New Orleans, Derek Coleman.
And a walk on Moten. He did change his pivot feet.
And I promise, Derek, I will not say that he missed a big free throw at the end of that game. Now make sure.
Nice that you brought it up there.
I won't bring that in the air. That's not going to get in the air, is it? Derek, I promise that. Derek's not worried. He's such a multi-millionaire now.
Syracuse had a chance to take the lead and turned it over, and there's a turnover story.
Change the look of their zone now. Look at this. They're playing a little different look.
Fair, red hot early. Picks it up again.
Just wide open on the wings. They went to a little zone with a one-man front. Changed the look of it, the composition of the previous. We almost had a backcourt there. Got lucky, got away just in time.
Moten's free. Got around Burrell and sets up and nails it.
You talk about silky smooth. Shoots that little like one-handed rather than a true jump shot.
Tied at 39.
They thought they had him at Maryland, Mr. Moten. Gary Williams came close on a lot, but came up empty, and that he didn't get Moten or Marshall.
We were tied at 3 at the beginning. We're now tied at 39.
See, they're going into a trap.
Wide open underneath.
Just great recognition. That's tremendous coaching. That's really a great game plan. Studying, analyzing. They recognized the defense. Syracuse went into a little trap and found the open man and a little release to the goal.
And now Syracuse turns
Give
it over
back.
again.
Get it back.
Ali kicks it out fair. The jumper, and this one in and out. He got it back somehow.
Got fouled right there. He got fouled. Little hole.
Pretty fair night, I'd say, huh? 17.
Syracuse is saying, hey, Brian, that's not fair.
Hopkins picked up the foul. We've got 1:50 left in the half.
See, with Burrell in your lineup, you can do a lot of things. You can play him on the perimeter. You can make your team a lot bigger.
Danielle Marshall finds a handle. Ali now looks over to Jim Calhoun, who's going to set things up.
They really thought that Cormier was going to be the answer to the point guard slot. Quick junior college player. But Ali's won that position. Plays a little bit more under control.
Burrell, tough shot, won't go. Wallace trying to get it to Autry, stolen by Danielle Marshall.
Danielle's not having a good first half.
We approach the 1 minute mark with, again, Syracuse having a chance to tie things up.
And remember, Connecticut really needs this game to really keep their hopes for a postseason in the NCAA. 3 years in a row they've won. They'd like to go to 4.
Hopkins, Moten. Burrell came out to pick him up, or he would have taken it out there. Instead, he drives for it. McCray can't get the follow.
Would have been a spectacular. Would have rocked this house.
Ali all the way. Score it, and a chance for a three-point play.
Kevin Ali just explodes to the goal. Got a chance to talk to him today about Crenshaw.
We're 41.7 seconds away from John Saunders in the studio with our Delta Faucet halftime report.
Wonder if John feels sorry for us since we've both been under the weather. We're on all kinds of medication here. I think John feels sorry for us a little bit.
I don't think so. Ali with 6 points so far in the half.
He's done a good job handling the basketball and playing some good pressure on the ball defensively, and that's the role that Jimmy Calhoun wants his point guard to handle.
He's already got 7 assists this half.
Look at him signaling different defenses. He's looking at the coaching staff. You want 5? He put up 5, Ali. Going to man-to-man defensively right now.
The lead is 5. We're down to 30 seconds in the half.
What a half by Fair. I mean, you talk about a half. That was just brilliant. Jimmy Calhoun doing a dance on the sideline. He's jumping up and down.
Moten's had the big half for Syracuse so far. And Dick almost had a steal. Turnover Syracuse. With 9.6 seconds left, UConn can add to their lead.
Look at Jimmy Calhoun stalking that sideline. Becomes contagious with his players. Terreno Walker left the team. He got a little down on playing basketball. Said he didn't have it in him anymore in terms of what you have to go through and put up with to be a player.
Daniel Marshall.
Score it. Oh, you got to score that. Wow, they're not going to count that?
No goaltending. Jim Calhoun can't believe it.
I can't believe it myself.
Brian Fair, what a half he had. 17 points. And that helps get UConn a 44-39 halftime lead as we go to John Saunders. John?
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot. And rest the voices for the second.
Attacks the gap in the zone. Watch that wing area right there, how it's available, and he'll kick out the basketball for the wide open jumper. There it is. And Mr. Fair says, thank you, because it's trifecta time. I'm going to knock this baby down. And look at the inside rebounding position that they're already going. The one thing with a zone, you don't have great block out assignments. Hey, Fair was on fire. He was sensational.
Here's the numbers for Brian Fair in the first half alone. 7 out of 12. 3 of them from three-point range for his 17 points. And his career high is 27. And you got to think he can attack that before this one's over.
And I'll tell you what else he did out there, Brad. He's a confidence breaker. In that he broke the confidence of Syracuse, bringing them out of that 2-3 zone, which they've been playing basically in their 4 wins out of their last 5 games. Jimmy Boeheim does not like playing man.
There's a steal from McCray. That's the way Syracuse would like to open up the half.
Jimmy doesn't have a lot of confidence in his team as a man-to-man team. That surprises me because he's got some pretty good athletes. Now there's the 2-3 matchup by Connecticut. They'll only do this next possession. I'm guaranteed they'll come back out and play man. So they try to match up out of it. Play a man in the area of the floor rather than playing a straight zone.
Wallace kicks it out. Moten will take it outside. Wallace puts it back in for him.
John Wallace. Special, special, special. He'll be one of the great players to play here at the Cuse.
He's in double figures with 10. Moten with a little bump on Burrell.
Very passive crowd, and I don't care what anybody tells me. It's all a reflection of that probation. There just is not the electricity and the kind of enthusiasm and spirit that you normally feel at the Syracuse Carrier Dome.
Eric Hayward will check in for the first time tonight for UConn. Burrell off the inbound.
Scotty Burrell. Will the real Mr. Burrell be here tonight? Looks like he has.
He's got 12. 46-41, Huskies. Boy, he wanted that baseline. He'll bring it back out on top.
Well, he's got that quick step to the baseline. They're staying in that matchup.
Autry.
Autry really was undecided whether to use the glass. Nice play right there. Oh!
Hopkins collides with Ollie. And now another collision between Hayward and Moten. And all of that has McCray going to the glass. Now Wallace.
Nice look.
And McCray. Getting a little bit physical.
Jimmy Boeheim liked that play right there. Look at McCray. He's got a smile on his face. Wow, look at the inside. Nice little push to the inside.
Hayward picks up his first foul, and at the free throw line will be Conrad McCray. This is his numbers against Connecticut in 5 games. His offensive rebounding in the first half, had 6 offensive rebounds out of his 7 boards. And that was big for Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse really did a good job on the offensive boards in that first half. When you look at the numbers, they had 12 rebounds as a team to 4 for Connecticut on the offensive boards. And that shows that you're playing aggressive basketball when you're offensively rebounding.
Syracuse had a big rebounding edge in the first half, and that's not normally the case for them this year.
You know, McRae also, they keep a chart called the charge chart. He took 2 charges against Georgetown, and he was the winner. That's created by Bernie Fine, their assistant coach. And they do that to really get the players excited about doing the little things, the intangibles that help you win.
Playing defense. That's the dirty work sometimes. Burrell's 3. Marshall trying to tip it in. And Moulton comes out of there with it.
See, I think Burrell is becoming too much of a stationary player. And he's too athletic, and he's too quick, and he's got great athletic ability. I think he's got to put the ball on the deck and try to drive a little bit rather than just think jump shot.
Autry. It's a 1-point game. 10 for Autry.
Adrian Autry with that nice little drive.
Ollie on the other end. Marshall blocked by McRae.
Conrad McRae providing that one major dimension on the interior.
Number 1 in the Big East in blocks. That was a big one. Syracuse can lead if they score, but they turn it over.
Not the real lob. They used to throw the lob here with Mr. Douglas. Nobody threw it better. Douglas to Coleman, slam jam, bam.
Burrell and Moulton, a couple all Big East players having at it. And that one partially blocked by Wallace. Danielle Marshall tips it up and in.
Danielle Marshall, where have you been? From Reading, Pennsylvania, superstar talent.
Only 5 for him. That's his first field goal of the night.
I like Billy Rafke calling one time the Graham Marshall.
Hopkins will take a 3. Mike nailed it.
See, that's a poor job defensively by Connecticut. He hits 3 in a row against them in the first game. You got to locate him, and you got to find him in the zone. He's a shooter who loves the zone.
Tied at 48.
Jimmy Bayham trying to get the crowd a little bit into it. He's making like the maestro man on the sideline.
Ollie penetrates. Tough shot.
I mean, you got to give him 5 if he makes that one.
That's right.
Really difficult.
He's got it back and put it in.
Wow.
Hopkins gets it inside to Wallace.
I'm surprised Connecticut's playing the zone as long as they are.
Moulton wide open. 3. And Fair all alone for the weak side rebound.
Ollie really pushes the ball up the court.
Does he ever? Danielle Marshall got mugged on the baseline.
He really runs it up the floor. When you talked about great freshmen last year, certainly you talked Chris Webber, outstanding. But this kid, Danielle Marshall, he had to be right in there with all the top players when you talk about the top 5 freshmen. Look at Ollie. Watch him push the ball up the floor. That's what you want your point guard to do. Put pressure on the defense. A la Bob Hurley.
Danielle Marshall. Ollie's had a nice game so far for the Huskies, looking for their 12th win of the year.
Look at Jimmy Calhoun. I like it. That's what I want to see out of my point guard.
Danielle Marshall, over 17 points a game, second in the Big East in scoring, and tonight only 5 so far.
Well, you know, they missed for scoring. They had, like, you talk about Chris Smith now playing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Outstanding guard for Connecticut. They're really the only show in town in Connecticut. Expectations, the whole town really gets so excited. They really sell out like you can't believe it. The old campus facility, the Gamble facility, get over 8,000 people there, 16,000 sell out over at Hartford.
McCorkle comes in and Lawrence Moulton will get a rest.
Raising ticket prices next year from $17 to $20 a pop.
Only you would know that. Danielle Marshall trying to give UConn a 4-point lead and does with 15:57 to go in the ball game. Huskies 52-48 leaders. 17 years at Syracuse, Bernie Fine's come up with some pretty good ideas, including that chart for taking charges you were talking about, Dick.
Well, they keep it in the locker room. Taking a look at the Syracuse locker room, there's the charge chart. They list all the opponents, and they show you who are the leaders and what they've done. And one of the reasons they keep that, it creates momentum swings. For example, it could be a 4-point swing, stepping in, taking a chart.
Dave Syack leads them with 17 taken.
A lot of times the big guys, if they really move their feet and get good positioning, they're in a proper baseline position to step in and take the charge.
Dave told us last night takes a lot of pride in leading the team in that category because he does not contribute a lot on offense, but he does on defense. Secunda nails a 3.
That was off a down screen. A little down screen made that happen for Secunda. Set play.
1-point game again.
Nice little curl move, down screen. Syracuse playing man-to-man defensively.
Burrell got around McCorkle, shoveled it up there, and it wouldn't go.
But that was a nice move by Burrell. Rather than looking always to shoot the standstill jump shot, taking the ball to the basket, showing some versatility.
Foul on McCray is third.
See, a defensive player comes up and hugs you. You got to be able to have another weapon.
This looked good, didn't it?
Yeah, Scotty Burrell right here. Look at him rotating over defensively. There's the flip up. I like Burrell. I really liked him. The first day I laid eyes on him as a diaper dandy as a freshman. He was a heck of a quarterback in high school, too.
He can do it all. Had over 100 steals as a freshman. Fair. He's been quiet so far this half. Syracuse has shut him off.
They found out where he is, boy. They're located. Here's that 2-3 zone again. Fair's eyes light up. He says the zone. The zone. Wow, they're going to play a zone. That means I'll get a good look at the basket. Look at him. He's going to try to sneak on a wing. Watch Fair. He wants the ball. Get it to him. Zigzag it.
Donnie Marshall.
Donnie Marshall says, no need to kick it out zigzag. I'm going right to the goal.
He zagged it right in for his 4th point. 3-point UConn lead.
He is a strong, physical kind of presence on the floor. No relation to Daniel.
Autry backs it out, has a look. Syracuse down 3. Moten on the bench right now for the Orangemen. Hopkins. And a foul on Burrell. A cheap touch foul in the paint.
Yeah, Burrell can't believe he's got a little smirk on his face. Saying, no, you can't be calling that. You know, he didn't pitch last year. He tore a ligament in his elbow. He was out the entire year. They say they've clocked him at 96 miles per hour. Say he's working on a split figure now, too.
54-51. Syracuse still trailing. They've tied it up once this half. They can tie it again if that goes. And last touched. It'll be UConn ball. Super Tuesday. Here's Knight walking with it.
They tried to get a little closer. Came off that little down screen. He's got to learn. Only way you're going to learn is by making mistakes and getting a chance to play. Can't be afraid of failure.
Wallace. Burrell way up there for the rebound. And Ollie wants to push it again.
There he is putting pressure on the defense. Explodes right to the goal. I mean, he goes coast to coast, baby. He said, I've been doing it all my life down in L.A., down in the playground.
11 for Kevin Ollie.
And they go to a half-court trap now, 1-3-1 trap.
They got to get Moten back in the lineup, I would think. Secunda outside. That'll help the cause if it goes. McCorkle pulls it off the backside.
There's the long rebound. Usually comes to the backside.
Burrell with a steal.
Burrell with a good rebound in the previous possession. Now with a good anticipation in the steal.
5-point UConn lead. As you see, we approach 13 minutes left in the game from the Carrier Dome.
And also the kind of tempo and the score keeps the crowd really quiet.
Fair. Whoa, no foul.
Wow, I can't believe it. Jim Calhoun's ready to go bananas.
Autry the other way. Dishes to Wallace.
That's a walk. Larry Limbo with the good call. Jimmy was also upset at halftime on a goaltending call, which definitely should have been goaltending. He had 5 NCAA tournament bids with Northeastern. 5 20-game win seasons there. Had a heck of a little guard named LaFleur. Sounded like a hockey player. Tom Mees calling those hockey names.
56-51.
Trying to set a double screen. They're trying to get Fair free. Hopkins really getting in his face right now on a man-to-man.
Marshall trying to go around Wallace. Does, and had it pinned on the glass by McCray. Burrell gets it back twice.
Great second effort by Scotty Burrell to get the foul. There's the drive to the goal. Now look at the block right here. Great timing. Now there's the reverse left hand by Burrell. And then there's the second effort. And he draws the contact.
So Scott Burrell will go to the line. 3 blocks on the night for McCray, as we said, coming in 51 on the season coming in. So add those 3 to it.
I'll tell you, I saw a player yesterday, Brad. Unbelievable as I watched Burrell come up empty here on a free throw line. J.R. Ryder down at UNLV. Big time. I'm telling you right now, he is sensational. He'll be an NBA star, 6'5", punishing perimeter player. Might be the best senior talent in America in terms for the next level.
Scotty Burrell leaves an opening for Syracuse to cut into the lead.
McRae loves hanging around the basket.
A dozen for McRae. Fair just can't shake loose for that jumper, and a steal by Moten.
Man-to-man defense in his face. They made an adjustment.
Tries to do it himself and drew a foul.
See, Syracuse did a great job at halftime. I think there was an awareness to Mr. Fair and his 17 points. You know, I said Ryder, best senior. Certainly Calvin Chaney is sensational. And if I had to pick a player of the year, he'd be my choice. But I'm talking on the NBA level because of his body and his punishing kind of style of play. J.R. Ryder just brings you out of your seat.
Louisville did a whale of a job pulling off the upset, though, didn't they?
Yeah, winning that game down at Vegas, 59 in a row, came to an end for the running Rebels.
Moten yet to score this half until now.
Well, with that nice touch from the free throw line. We also want to send best wishes to Jerry Tarkanian. He'll be going under a procedure for the angioplasty procedure.
Moten got a boat. 11:56 remaining in the ball game. Syracuse has cut it to a 1-point UConn lead. 1-point lead and looking for that 12th win of the year as they hope to make it into the NCAA tournament.
We got plenty of chances to help ourselves a great deal. We have the Big East tournament, and I think a team this year probably going to need 16 wins minimum. And 16 I use because I think we're a game down. There's not 27 games here, there's only 26. I think secondly, I think you have to do well at the end of the season. In order for us to make it, we're going to have to do well at the end of the season. So with this particular young team, I think we've played well, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we're going to prove that we belong in that tournament, and that's our goal.
There's what the Huskies have left. 11-8 coming in, 6-6, tied with Syracuse for the middle point of the pack in the Big East coming into this one.
I think they need another 5 wins at least in the next 7 games, and it certainly will not be easy. So much balance. Everybody can beat everybody in the league. You don't have any great heavyweight teams, but you do have teams that really you just can't figure from day to day out. Georgetown really on the brink of being knocked out.
Ali feeds underneath Willingham, blocks by Wallace. We mentioned the Big East standings. Here's how they look. Surprising St. John's on top. Seton Hall just one back. Pitt, Boston College, and then Syracuse and UConn tied in the middle of the pack.
I think the first 4 clubs are going to definitely get in without a doubt.
Well, we've had blocks on both ends. Marshall got that one. Autry can't believe it. He's still scraping himself off the floor.
Willingham was a little slow releasing the ball after a great dish.
Another block on the other end.
I love shot blockers. I think they add so much to your team. They really help in terms of field goal percentage defensively year in and year out. Georgetown, when they had Mourning and McCumbo and Ewing, teams would shoot in the 30 percentiles. Well, you're not going to beat them when they're doing that.
We're under 11 minutes in a 1-point game.
That's a walk. He lifted his pivot foot. You know, Georgetown has a big game coming up with Villanova at home, trying to break that losing streak. They have to win that game because their next game is on the road against Seton Hall. And if they lose to Villanova at home, they could really put themselves out in terms of an NCAA bid this year. 14 years in a row, they've been in a tournament.
Syracuse, 10 straight years the NCAA, of course, will come to an end this season.
See, there's the 2-3 zone again. They're trying to match up. They know where Fair is. Moten, he'll find him in whatever area. Now they'll communicate. See, they say he's coming. McRae says, watch him. He's coming to the other side.
Brian Fair's run about 6 miles this half, trying to get free up for a jump shot.
They're matching up on Burrell now. Rotation out of that 2-3. Fair's wide open right now. They missed him. He was wide open on the wing.
McRae.
Calhoun wants to score again. He can't get a break on a goaltender.
Syracuse with another block shot and another opportunity to take the lead.
That was close. That one was really close. I don't think there was any doubt in the one in the first half.
Syracuse has not led this half until now.
Mr. Moten with the big play. Likes to shoot the rock under pressure.
That's the first lead for the Orangemen since 12:45 remained in the first half.
And finally, some of their fans stand up. See, Ali, they don't have the guard on the perimeter. He will not even look at the basket.
Burrell, tough jumper. Moulton all alone.
Not a good shot. Crowd starting to get into it. Momentum. Uncle Mo is swung to the side of the Cuse.
Moulton trying to deal into the lane and does.
He said, it's my show. He said, this arena belongs to my roommate, Marvin Graves, baby, during football. But in hoop season, it's mine.
In the Metro Atlantic, Manhattan facing Iona, and Kerry Wilson finds Kerry Edwards at the other end. He stuffs it down. 17-5, 9-1 in the conference, and receives some votes this week in the top 25. Brad and Dick.
Here's Syracuse in front by 3. 59-56 with 8:49 to go. Brian Fair, that big first half and nothing to show for it in the second half.
Well, they're really aware everywhere he's on the floor. Look at him, 31. He says, give me the ball. I want the ball. Give me the ball. I can shoot it. Autry says, no, I know where you are. See Autry drifted back, and now he's trying to go through the defense.
He's only taken one shot this half.
Look at the first half. 17 big ones. He's got the Zippo side in the second half. See, they're not playing Ali. Look how they back off. They play very soft on the wing where number 12 touches the ball. He's a driver, a penetrator. There he is.
Ali leaves it for Marshall.
Offensive foul. Get the charge chart out. Get the charge chart in the locker room. McRae took the charge. Bernie Fine, who designed it. Now watch McRae rotate over. Now watch number 13. See him step right in? He says, look, I'm going to make the charge chart. I'm going to make Bernie happy.
He was number 2 on that chart. And just added another one to give it back to Syracuse with a 3-point lead.
Think about it. How could be a 4-point turnaround? That would have been a 1-point game.
And Autry does the same thing on the other end.
Sean Corbin with the call right in front of Jimmy Boeheim. These are the little things that you do to help your team. Say you step in, you take the charge, you take away the basket.
Jim Boeheim looks to the crowd, puts his palms upward as if to say, well, what are you going to do?
Trying to get the crowd into it.
8 minutes left. Fair, finally free for a jumper. Marshall puts it back.
Marshall had great inside position.
Hopkins to Moulton on a reverse layup.
They'll score the basket. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Look, Jimmy Calhoun. He's stalking his sideline. He's beside himself. Now he sits down. I watch coaches go wacky, and I say, wow, because I was the wackiest guy. You never saw me. Oh, there's no doubt about that. That ball's coming down.
I didn't have to see you, Coach. I know how wacky you are sitting next to me. Biggest Syracuse lead of this half.
And if you're a Connecticut fan, you're getting nervous. You're looking at 11-8. You're saying we need this W. We want to go to the big dance, the NCAA. We can't afford too many L's.
Danielle Marshall, Moulton another big rebound.
Moulton playing big here in the second half. Good poise right there, backing the ball out.
Pulls up for a 3.
Not a good shot. Not really a good shot.
Ollie. Burrell over on the baseline. He got it to him for 3.
Ran to a spot as part of their transition game. Run to the three-point line. Let Jimmy Calhoun. He's talking to Mr. Lembo. Lembo, the class official that he is. Won't call it technical. He said, calm down. We got it under control. We got it under control.
They have a foul on Moulton underneath.
And there's some other referees, rabbit ears, they'll be turning around banging the technical.
Yep.
Because they say, you're not allowed to talk to me. Sometimes you got to be really in control as an official and let a coach vent out some of his anger.
Sean Corbin now getting an earful from Jim Calhoun, too, and he takes it pretty much in stride as well. Marshall off the glass, too strong. Moulton another rebound. Boy, that's been his spot on the glass. The lob.
They're going to rock and roll now. Jimmy Calhoun said, I can't believe it.
Ali. Danielle Marshall with some authority to put it back.
He answers. I'll tell you, that last play was reminiscent of Douglas to Coleman. That's the way they executed with the diagonal high lob.
We saw one of those last week against Georgetown. Very similar. And Autry has it knocked away.
This takes me back to vintage Syracuse. Douglas to Mr. Coleman. But no, it's Autry to McRae.
63-58 from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. The Orangemen looking for their 15th win. UConn looking for number 12 on the year. And Syracuse on a pretty serious run here in the last 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
They're trying to spoil any dream or any desire of an NCAA tournament bid. Say, we can't go, but we'll hurt somebody along the way. See, now they're playing that zone, but they're locating. They're finding fair wherever he's at.
Burrell may have forced that three, but Marshall follows it.
Danielle Marshall starting to get really involved inside with the live legs.
5:40 left.
He's a big-time player, Marshall. He is going to be one heck of a player in his career. Maybe the best of all time at Connecticut.
Timeout, Syracuse. Loud in the Big East tourney this year, and in past teams that have been on probation, some have and some haven't been able to play in their conference tourney. Dick, what do you think about it?
Oh, I think that you don't allow a team. I'm really surprised that they've allowed them to play, because I think they can spoil a party for a team that might be on a fringe number one. And remember this, winning the postseason tournament gets the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. So my feeling is, if you're on probation in terms of not being allowed to play in the NCAA tournament, why should you be allowed to play in the tournament when the winner receives the honor of getting a berth to the NCAA? I just don't buy it.
Over and back on Hopkins.
You know, suppose Syracuse knocks off a Connecticut or a Georgetown or somebody really on a fringe. I just don't think it's fair. They're on probation. It means they can't play in the tournament.
We're down to 5.5 minutes. Syracuse is a 3-point lead. Burrell, nice dish.
Well, just a great two-man play. Stepped into the high post area. We talked the high-low. Great recognition by Burrell to step into the gap.
Danielle Marshall only 3 points in the first half, but now 13. He's come up big this second half.
Burrell did a great job finding the opening in that 2-3 zone.
Moping over Burrell. Autry found a rebound, but stepped on the baseline.
Bowman has taken 2 bad shots in his last 2 attempts.
And it gives UConn a chance to lead if they score. 22nd turnover of the night against Syracuse.
This is a really big game. I'm telling you, this is big for Connecticut. Trying to set a high screen and step back after the screen. Burrell, the screener, is the most dangerous guy on the floor. See,
Burrell for the lead. Yes.
Burrell stepped right in that gap. I was just saying, they're setting up Burrell. To myself, you can just see him leading into that gap. He's just made 2 big plays in a row.
Huskies by 2.
And in both situations, he recognized an opening in the zone of Syracuse.
Another timeout with 4:28 to go.
To take us through the tough situations. Example, in the Syracuse game, we're +4, getting down to tough time, and we don't have Scott. He's sitting beside me, unfortunately. I don't like seeing him beside me. Even though I like him a lot, I don't like him beside me, and we don't break pressure quite as well. The reverse ball doesn't get there, and there's no one for the kids to really look to who's been through it before.
Made 2 big plays right there, Brad.
15 points and 6 boards on the night for Burrell. And UConn back in front by a pair.
Shot selection became big. Syracuse took a couple bad shots. Execution down the stretch. You talk about winning time. Shot selection, so important.
Autry swatted by Danielle Marshall.
Look at Marshall getting ahead on a break. He wanted the ball. They missed him.
Burrell right back to Marshall. And he's fouled by McRae.
I love guys that can block a shot and then get out and lead the fast break.
4 fouls on Conrad McRae, and Danielle Marshall goes back to the free throw line.
He's got those long, long arms. Mike Jarvis with another big win. He'll be one of the hot coaches in America, along with John Calipari.
Danielle Marshall, 5 out of 6 from the free throw line tonight.
I'll tell you, he adds 20 pounds to that frame, gets in that weight room. It'll be frightening how tough he can be. He's very agile now. He's mobile. But right now, people could really body up on him physically.
Amazing thing is he's almost added that much weight already. So he's going to have to keep working on it.
I know. It's amazing. That's what Jimmy Calhoun was telling me today at the shoot-around. 4 fouls on Conrad.
Marshall, former Pennsylvania Player of the Year, having a big half after really starting slow in this one.
Biggest star out of that area since a guy by the name of Billy Owens, who played here, was a dominator.
Danielle with 14 points.
Changing their defensive look. They really make the guards have to think so much when you're playing against Connecticut with their changes defensively.
4 to go. UConn by 3. Autry trying to change that. And the rebound, Danielle Marshall.
Shot selection again. We talk about it. Good teams take good shots at the end of the game.
Fair.
That's a great shot. That's not a good shot. That's a great shot. Run to the line, shoot the jumper. Part of their running game is run to the three-point area.
His first points in the second half's a Trey. He's got 20 on the night. Moulton goes inside with a pass.
That's good shot selection right there. Very unselfish play by Moulton. Syracuse going to go up to a little trap. Oh, he just splits the trap, Ollie. Excellent ball handling.
Fair again. Got it again.
That's part of their running game. They're going to keep that open for Fair. If he can square his body, you can count it, baby. It's NBN, nothing but nylon.
15-2 UConn run has them up 6.
That's part of their transition game.
Steal by Burrell.
Steal.
Trying to get around Hopkins. And Hopkins got a piece of him on the way to the hoop.
Little hug. Marshall says, I like that, Scotty. I like that. You're our senior. You're our leader. Like Hopkins says, I don't like it. Everybody's shaving their head. They like my look.
That'll leave a little around the back then. So Scott Burrell back to the free throw line. He's missed his last 2 from the stripe.
I think he's got a tough decision to make. Will it be basketball? Will it be baseball? But you'd love to be in that situation.
And he missed another one.
Ooh, comes up empty right there.
They say if it is baseball, it'll be somewhere between AA Nashville and AAA right here in Syracuse for the Toronto Baseball Organization.
Oh, I wonder if we'll get free tickets for Jimmy Boeheim. You think there's some free tickets? Let's see what they do defensively out of this set. They were playing man pressure in the previous one. Now they're back playing man-to-man. Looking to take it to the trapping area. They're going to play head-to-head, man-to-man right here.
UConn up 7. A big lead with 2:40 left.
I'll tell you who disappears for Syracuse offensively, and it's because of inexperience and youth, is John Wallace.
Yep. Wallace
does not yet know how to get free consistently on the inside. There he is with the ball right here.
Rebound Burrell.
A lot of kids come into the collegiate level. Weber had that problem last year, trying to get free for the ball. It's an area that really these guys dominated so much in high school that they didn't really have to work hard to get free.
Again, the pressure in the backcourt. But Ollie's had no trouble with that.
Ollie's done a great job handling the ball. He's put Cormier on the bench, the junior college super. Spread the court, use some time, penetrate. Oh, they're going to go to half-court trap, slide somebody to the post area. You got to slide somebody in that post area. It's vacated. It's wide open.
Ollie dishes to Marshall. Offensive foul.
A little bit out of control right there.
We got a big Monday in progress and another one coming up next Monday as we'll get things going with Oklahoma State. They had one this afternoon that was an overtime thriller, and this one is a 7-point game. Autry
Squared his body really well. Had his shoulders to the basket. Got the good look with the good arc.
Makes it a 4-point lead.
Ollie's got to start to control the tempo a little better. He's playing a little bit too high gear. He's got to know score and time. It's important as a player to know score and time coming down the stretch.
Autry picks up the foul. And so Kevin Ollie will go to the free throw line.
71% free throw shooter.
One trip there tonight, and he converted it.
He really earned himself a starting role. Hey, this Connecticut team is very, very young. And they got a couple of dynamite recruits coming in next year from down south. A kid by the name of King coming from out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right on Dale Brown's territory. And then they got a kid, Ray Allen, everybody rants and raves about. Says he's a super from out of South Carolina, a 6'4" player.
12 points on the night for Kevin Ollie.
Did a great job, though, up to this point in really breaking down the defenses and handling the ball.
6 points, Syracuse trying to overcome in the next minute and 40 seconds. Autry will try to do some of it. Tips. Autry gets it back to Wallace.
Nice look. John Wallace really is very effective. He's got good hands when he can get the basketball in the low post position. He's got to work on how to get free. Oh, not a good play right there. Great steal.
Needed a steal. They got it.
Oh, what a big play. I'm getting TO, baby. I'm getting TO if I'm Mr. Calhoun. Settle my team down.
Autry with a steal and an assist all in one play.
Adrian Autry with a great play. But see, Wallace bothering the guy throwing the ball in bounds with his great size. Now Burrell makes a bad, bad play. Look at the touch pass, the steal, and Hopkins finalizes it, converts it with the three.
We talked about how close these games have been the last 7 outings. And this one's going right down to the wire as well.
And right now, if you are a Connecticut fan, you are really, really biting your nails. You're thinking 11-8, how big this game is. Look at those wackos.
You're also trying to move up out of the middle of the pack in the Big East. Here's how they look right now. Tied for that spot with matching 6-6 records.
You know, Brad, you could talk about the conference being down. Down is, you know, relative to whatever you're talking about. But the bottom line is they're still a top 5 conference in America. They may not be in the top 3, but they are top 5. Point I'm making, you go over 500 in this conference, you're a lock getting into the NCAA.
Here's the situation. Syracuse 1 timeout left. UConn without.
It's that old theory, you spoil, you spoil, you spoil. The great dynamite heavyweight Georgetown teams, the St. John's teams with the Walter Berry and company, the Mullins. You think about the great Syracuse teams, the Villanova teams. They just don't have those kind of heavyweight teams.
Mike Hopkins, only 2 baskets, both in this half. None bigger than that 3 just hit. And that's some of that senior leadership we talked about a couple hours ago.
See, now right here, they got to try to protect the ball, spread. Syracuse is going to elect to play man-to-man. See, Ollie should really, right now it's a mismatch with he and Wallace up here. Now he can take some time off. Syracuse is confused right now. They're confused a little bit. Now they're in the man-to-man. Spreading the court.
24 on the shot clock. That's the game clock in the corner of your screen. UConn up by 1.
Syracuse gets the ball back no matter what. Set a little screen. He's going to try to do something, a little penetration.
Burrell open for 3.
Oh, what a tip. What a tip. No one blocked out.
Moulton may have rushed it. And ball out to UConn.
3-point lead, the basketball, spread the court. They're looking to foul. It's a 1-possession game at this moment. Get to the foul line and convert it to 2-possession game.
Long
look at this.
There's
look at
that
this.
arm.
Burrell. He's done that in the past. Did it against Clemson. Did Tate George. Oh, is it intentional? No, they call going for the ball.
Autry picks up the foul with 19.5 seconds left. And Daniel Marshall will go to the free throw line.
Look at Jimmy Calhoun talking to Larry Limbo. Limbo saying, look, we got it under control. Crowd is still silent right now.
Some of them heading out. There's still life left for Syracuse and Jim Boeheim, but they're down 3 with Marshall at the line.
You're right, Brad. Look at these people leaving. Where are they going? Trying to beat the crowd.
We've seen some crazy things in 20 seconds.
Wow. What about the game in Carolina one time with Duke? A 7-point lead with 17 seconds. Back at 74, Walter Davis.
Danielle Marshall feeling a little bit of the pressure from the fans, and he nails it anyway.
Step closer, it looks like, to an NCAA bid, winning a game on a road so big to Connecticut. Fighting for survival. Georgetown gets their test Wednesday against Villanova.
Syracuse needs 2 possessions right now.
Yeah, 2 possessions. Pretty tough to get to here and win this with 19 seconds. They
Marshall
couldn't
got
have
them both. Danielle Marshall big this half.
Don't want to foul right here. They go back zone, just put some pressure, make them lose some time.
And a charging foul on Autry. That fouls him out.
This game is over. This game is tucked away, baby. This game is tucked away. Adrian Autry, what an improved player. Work ethics, been in the gym hour after hour, working on his shot, trimming down, finally living up to the billing he had coming out of high school.
Boy, this one seesawed back and forth a number of times. And UConn now at a pretty comfortable spot, up 5 with just under 14 seconds left.
UConn did a great job answering the call when Syracuse made their run.
10 assists to go with the 13 points. So another big night for Autry, but he's gone with 13.9 left. Ali fouled immediately by Hopkins. UConn schedule the rest of the way. Now that they're about ready to pick up their 12th win of the year. Looks like this. At Pitt, then Maine, BC, Seton Hall, Providence, and Georgetown before the Big East tourney.
Now I got a big game on Wednesday, St. John's and Seton Hall. Brian Mahoney would be my choice as coach of the year right now. I think Seton Hall, though, still is, to me, the best team and who has the best shot of making damage in the NCAA tournament. I really do. I think P.J. Carlesimo's team could really create problems at tournament time.
And now the Huskies on the bench starting to feel it with 12.9 left. They have lost 2 straight on the road. They're about ready to snap that skid.
Jim Calhoun is a basketball fanatic. He loves watching tapes. He loves watching games. He watches them all day long.
He's going to love watching this one.
Oh, he'll watch the replay tonight. He'll be up 2, 3 in the morning. He'll go back home, watch it again.
Hopkins, short. Sims pulls it down, goes right back up with it. And we're down to 4.5 seconds. And Scott Burrell and company know that they have got one in the bag here.
Look at Jim. Says, I think we got it under control.
McCray with a steal and the shot at the buzzer. And
he nails it. This makes it a little bit more dramatic, a little closer. But Connecticut leaves with the big W.
A 4-point win and a big one for Jim Calhoun's UConn Huskies. They win it 80-76. For Dick Vitale, I'm Brad Dessler. Thanks for being with us from the Carrier Dome. Now we send it to John Saunders. John.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Very big win for the Huskies. A week or so ago, it looked like the NIT was written all over this season. But right now, still very much in the hunt. They move now to 12-8, 7-6 in the Big East. And you must figure that if you're at or over 500 in the Big East, the odds are you're going to make it into the NCAA tournament.
Up to these Big East games have more than a measure of suspense, wouldn't you say?
Stick around to the end, huh?
That's right.
You really had to last night. It could have been a disaster, but when the Huskies opened the door and let Syracuse in late, they then bit Syracuse on the ankle, the way all good Huskies are supposed to. It was a big-time win. And suddenly UConn is one of those teams that's not about to win the national championship, but a team that no one in the country wants to play right now. Eric McClendon reports.
The Huskies took a walk on the wild side last night in Syracuse after several near misses down the stretch. The Dogs safely secured a win in the final seconds. After giving up 12 straight points and the lead at 63-56 with 6:56 to go, Danielle Marshall steps up after a very quiet first half in which he scored only 3 points. He went on to score on 3 consecutive trips with successive dunks to pull UConn to within 1. After a Scott Burrell three-pointer that gave UConn the lead, Marshall swats Adrian Autry's attempt, keying the Huskies' final charge.
I wasn't playing too well the whole game, and then, you know, I just started playing well. I started getting in there inside. I was able to dunk, and he drove to the hole, and, you know, it was just right there for the block. And I think that block really keyed the our run up, and I think that really put us ahead for good.
After the block, UConn ran off 15 of the game's final 25 points. Brian Fair stepping to the table, hitting 2 clutch baskets. He finished with 22 points, and then with 32 seconds to go, Marshall solidifies a very impressive victory with a tip that gave UConn their 3rd straight victory. To say that this was an emotional win would be a major understatement. Scott Burrell even passed out a few kisses. I saw you passing out kisses and smiling, though. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, we're a happy group right now, and try to keep carrying it on.
You guys were pretty happy after the Miami-Villanova games, but certainly not like this.
Just generally speaking, a lot of happy Huskies here, including head Husky right now.
What about Coach Calhoun? When was the last time you saw him so happy?
I really can't remember, so well, let's keep him like that while we can, though.
A win in Pittsburgh on Saturday would do just that. Eric McClendon, Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Syracuse.
That was Donnie Marshall, whom we were speaking to just a moment ago in Eric's piece. A couple of weeks ago, we got a look at Bobby Sura and Douglas.
To move on. But everywhere I went, hey, how about those Huskies? Everybody talking about it today, so we better go a little further. It was the first win for Connecticut in the Carrier Dome since Cliff Robinson was an amateur. It was the biggest victory of the season to date, and it changed the course of the season for the Huskies. It was also the talk of the office today, and it didn't come easily. The Connecticut lead had been dwindled down to just 1 point when Scott Burrell's three was off. Daniel Marshall with the great putback, saving the day for UConn, and they won it 80-76.
I'm just very happy that they had a game in which they worked hard, got some results. We've had a lot of games this year where we've worked very hard, but our inexperience has showed tonight. I mean, Hopkins hits that great three-pointer in the steal, magnificent play. It really was. I mean, so it was that kind of game, and we come back and we answer, and that's obviously once again is an exciting game for us, and I think a push because once again I feel we've been playing better. I've said that in two straight losses, and I'll say that in the third straight win.